Welcome to Advanced Seesaw. So this session is going to cover some posting best practices, as well as going over how to assign activities. From this point forward, if you're asking a student to respond to you in any way, either through turning in an assignment or work, or even you're asking them to say in a music class, listen to a piece of music or practice a piece of music, we want to be using the activities to assign this work, and leave any journal posting for things that are not necessary to furthering learning or understanding. So to begin, posting best practices. There's certain information that must be in a post, and I'm extending this information to also be in the title of any activity that you assign your students. So the class subject should show up as soon as possible, either in a journal caption or in an activity assigned to students. It should include the due date in that information. And of course, in any poster activity, you should have any and all instructions necessary for completion of the activity to be included. The reason why we're moving to having the class subject as well as the due date be in the title of an assigned activity is due to feedback from parents. They're scanning those activities and it helps keep their child on track if they know what the subject is and also what the due date is, as they scan that activity list. It helps them from needing to open up each activity and read it the whole way through, every time they're kind of looking down that to-do list for their child. Now, in the past, we've suggested that when you post a picture that you only have a caption on the first photo. Well, in this new world of virtual school, we are going to choose to leverage captions a little bit. You can think of adding a different caption to every photo that you post. This also works in activities. If you post more than one photo, you can upload up to 10 photos, one video of less than 5 minutes, and a PDF. Long PDFs will be split into multiple pages. But back to the captions, if you caption each photo individually, you can use it for splitting up instructions. You can use it for showing examples or why certain examples work. And it just gives you space to offer further explanation to your students. Links are wonderful in Seesaw. They are 100% live. Videos play beautifully. Websites will open easily. And it's good to know that if you include an email address, that clicking on that email address will automatically open up the mail app on the device. So since we're really looking at our parents to likely be emailing us, they're very good at that. This way, they can do it even easier just by clicking on your email address. The more I talk about this, I'm realizing that maybe this is not as tempting as it first sounded when I started this slide. All right, so we'll jump into activities. This is new. It is a change from what we had started using Seesaw for. So there are directions. That green plus sign, you obviously choose assign activity. You can, underneath my library, create a new activity. This is what I'm seeing a lot of people do, is post their own activities, which I actually think is the strategy that is best. You want to fill in the full details of the activity. Again, that activity name should include the subject as well as the due date of the activity. You can include student instructions in a lot of different forms, examples, voice instructions, A lot of you are using student templates. That is a wonderful thing to do. And remember that you can tag only specific students for activities. So if you have a child that needs a little bit more support, maybe half the class is a little further than the other half the class in a subject. If you've got one of those high flying kids that just needs even in a normal classroom you would have pulled aside to give a little bit more meat to their assignment, you are able to create activities and only send it out to specific students. The students at this point now with the new QR codes will not know that they will only see activities, assigned to them. So you can feel free to differentiate the types of activities that you're assigning to your students if you feel like that's necessary. You can also tap the more options link, and that will allow you to add private teacher notes. Again, absolutely nobody will see this but you, or if you choose to share the activity with a co-teacher or another teacher within Sandy Spring. You can preview the assignment and you can preview the activity. I will admit that activity and assignment and assigning activities that are really assignments for our kids gets me a little bit tongue-tied in my brain. But you can, to publish an activity, you're going to click assign. Many of you are already doing this, so way to go. There are instructions for adding assignments. The link is here in the slides and will also be attached to the virtual learning website. I want to talk a little bit about the activity library. So you can assign an activity from that activity library, like super easy. You basically click, you can browse the activity library, click that green plus sign, and you can just assign the activity in whole with no changes. And God bless you, you've won the lottery if you find one of those activities that is just absolutely perfectly worded for you and your students in your class. If it is, way to go, assign that sucker. You can edit the activity assignments that you find in the activity library. What the step you have to take before you can edit it is that you have to click the little heart. You have to give it a heart. You got to give it some love to add to your library. It will show up on your My Library page. And once you've added it to your library, you can tap the 3 dots below that activity and you choose copy and edit activity, and you can customize it. So student responses, they can only respond from the class app. I feel like at this point in time, we've pretty much covered it with our families that the class app is really where they're going to interact on Seesaw, that the family app is just kind of a viewing portal. But if anyone is still confused about why they can't respond to something or why they can't see something, it's because it is in the class app. You can let them know that, or you can refer them back to the lower school virtual learning site, or you can tell them to email me, although many parents have already figured out that they can email me and I will give them this answer. So how do students respond to the activity? At the bottom of their activity, there is an add response, a little green button, and they will follow your instructions to add the response. If you've offered them a template, they are able to either save it as an image to their phone, save it to their computer, they can interact with it, they can pull it back up on Seesaw and use the native creation tools within Seesaw to edit it. People are also using just their devices tools, so they're adding text boxes on top of pictures or documents, different things like that. And then they re-upload whatever you ask them through that green add response box. Once they respond, a question that comes from parents a fair amount is that they do not automatically see that response on the family app, and they no longer see the response within the class app. And that is totally normal. Once you upload something, once a student uploads something, they are unable to see it until a faculty member approves the post. So it is totally normal that once they submit it, it goes away and they don't see it. Again, the response forms, you can add a template, something that you've created before. You can also use the native creation tools within Seesaw to create a template. It will offer to let you do that. And you can feel free to ask students also to upload photos for you. You could ask them to upload videos for you. It seems like after the first few days of this that everyone is super comfortable with doing these sorts of things. So I think we are doing a good job. And that is the end of Advanced Seesaw, getting up and running with some of the new changes to the virtual school guidelines, as well as adding activities. If you have any questions, as always, you can email me, the IG team, or tech@ssfs.org, and we'll get back to you with an answer. All right. Stay strong, my friends.